This is TechCrunch. Tim Spencer realized just how complicated manufacturing procurement can be while running an e-commerce startup in Asia during the pandemic. Spencer told TechCrunch recently we had thousands of suppliers and we were distributing products into dozens of countries around the world. His staff was overwhelmed by the manual complexity of sourcing suppliers, negotiating pricing, tracking orders, and managing payments. He said, "I found myself running this big team that was not really set up for success." Soon after, in 2023, he sold that company, just as it was becoming clear that generative AI could streamline the most time-consuming procurement hurdles for manufacturers and distributors. Later that year, Spencer launched Didero with Lawrence Paulhuber, a veteran of McKinsey's procurement practice, and Tom Pettit, the former technical co-founder of Landis. Didero, whose mission is to automate many of the complexities of global procurement, just raised a $30 million Series A, co-led by Chemistry and Headline, with participation from Microsoft's venture fund M12. Spencer said, "Global trade runs on natural language communication. It's emails, WeChat, phone calls, purchase orders, and packing lists. Until the advent of generative AI, these fragmented pieces had to be tracked by humans who spent their days chasing suppliers and manually updating systems of record." Didero claims its platform can ingest that communication, putting a significant portion of the procurement workflow on autopilot. Didero functions as an agentic AI layer that sits on top of a company's existing ERP, acting as a coordinator that reads incoming communications and automatically executes the necessary updates and tasks. The goal is to go from "I need a good" to payment without having to lift a finger. Unlike LevelPath or Zip or Modal Labs, which use AI to streamline corporate purchasing, Didero focuses on the supply chain. Its platform is designed for manufacturers and distributors who need to source raw materials and inputs required to build or sell their products. Didero has a few smaller competitors that can handle some of the tasks that the company does. For instance, Cavella and Pietra help brands source and negotiate pricing with manufacturers, but according to Spencer, those companies serve small and medium-sized companies and don't handle the full procurement process, from the first quote to the final payment. Didero has dozens of customers, but named only one, Footprint, a provider of sustainable, plant-based packaging. Modal Labs is a startup specializing in AI inference infrastructure, and the company is talking to VCs about a new round at a valuation of about $2.5 billion. That's according to 4 people with knowledge of the deal. Should that deal close at those terms, the funding round would more than double the company's valuation of $1.1 billion, announced less than 5 months ago, when it announced an $87 million Series B round. TechCrunch has learned that General Catalyst is in talks to lead the round. Modal's annualized revenue run rate is approximately $50 million, according to TechCrunch's sources. The discussions are early and terms could still change. Modal Labs co-founder and CEO Eric Bernardson denied that his company was actively fundraising and characterized his recent interactions with VCs as general conversations. General Catalyst did not respond to TechCrunch's requests for comment. Now, Modal is focused on optimizing inference, the process of running trained AI models to generate answers from user requests. Improving inference efficiency reduces compute costs and cuts down the lag time between a user's prompt and the AI's response. Modal is one of the handful of inference-focused companies attracting intense investor attention now. Last week, its competitor Base10 announced a $300 million raise at a $5 billion valuation, more than doubling the $2.1 billion valuation it reached just months prior in September. Similarly, Fireworks AI, an inference cloud provider, secured $250 million at a $4 billion valuation in October. In January, the creators of the open-source inference project, VLLM, announced they had transitioned the tool into a VC-backed startup, Inferact, raising $150 million in seed funding led by Andreessen Horowitz at an $800 million valuation. Meanwhile, TechCrunch reported that the team behind SG Lang has commercialized as Radix Arc, which sources told TechCrunch secured seed funding at a $400 million valuation led by Excel. Modal was co-founded by Bernardson in 2021 after he spent more than 15 years building and leading data teams at companies including Spotify and Better.com, where he was CTO. The startup counts Lux Capital and Redpoint Ventures among its early backers. That's it from TechCrunch. For more stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.